So the internet truly never forgets. And everyone who criticized Meghan while protecting Prince Andrew or saying very little about Prince Andrew back then is now being exposed. Now, I want you to listen to this very short clip that was shared by Misan Harriman, and it's of a man who is called Femi, who talks about Piers Morgan. So just take a look at this because I promise you it's actually hilarious.
This video is calling out Piers Morgan, so if you're a Piers Morgan fan who can't tolerate criticism, please scroll. Now, some of you will have seen my little joke about how the British media has been disproportionately focusing their attacks on Meghan Markle for years when Prince Andrew was right there. And nobody was more guilty of this than my old pal Piers Morgan. He's blocked me now for reasons which I'll get into another video, but we actually went into this back and forth back in the day, and that conversation has aged beautifully. Because here's me calling Piers Morgan out for his failure to call out Andrew for his behaviour, saying, haven't seen Piers Morgan tweet about Prince Andrew yet, must be difficult to find some way to blame Harry and Meghan for this one. And Piers Morgan responded saying, hi Femi, here's my column on Prince Andrew. It doesn't mention the Sussexes. Sorry this makes your Piers Morgan only criticises black royals narratives look like a dumb, lazy lie. To which I responded, I'm so glad that you think the evils of Prince Andrew have finally gotten as bad as Meghan Markle. To which Piers Morgan responded, this is my 5th heavily critical article about the Andrew Epstein scandal. You just didn't notice the others because he's white. And so I found all the articles that Piers Morgan had written criticising Harry and Meghan just that year, totaling up to, what is that, 12 plus 2, 14 in 12 months. So I said, so aiding and abetting the sex trafficking of children, that gets you 5 whole columns, but being slightly too woke for Piers Morgan, that gets you how many? Oh, and by the way, Piers Morgan effectively tried to threaten me, told me to delete that on the basis of he hadn't been charged with anything. And this is the guy he was protecting. So yes, for those of you who didn't quite understand the joke that I was making here, look no further than this mouldy mountain of misogynoir.
So I'm actually very glad that Misan Harriman is the one who reposted this. And if you don't know who Misan Harriman is, he's a very talented photographer and also a very good friend of Prince Harry and Meghan, and has taken some very amazing pictures of them when Meghan was pregnant, also on their trips such as in Nigeria, and just a lot of memorable events for Prince Harry and Meghan. He's always been there. So thank you very much, Misan, for posting this amazing clip by Femi Oluwole. So Femi is the one who was talking on the clip. And as you heard, he literally destroys Piers Morgan and takes us back to 2021, where Piers was almost threatening him, saying that unless you produce evidence that Prince Andrew has actually been exposed of this, you risk being sued. Wow. And right now, it's actually been exposed that Prince Andrew did all of those things, with all the pictures that have been revealed from the Epstein files and with all the, even the emails. It just shows that Prince Andrew was definitely very much involved in this. So I don't know where Piers Morgan is going to hide after all of those threats. These people knew it, but still, they thought members of the royal family were not going to be exposed for their shady behavior. Now, let's go through what Femi actually told Piers Morgan then. So, Femi started by telling Piers that I haven't seen Piers Morgan tweet about Prince Andrew yet. Must be a difficult time to find some way to blame Prince Harry and Meghan for this one. That is, for what Prince Andrew had been exposed then, because all these allegations started coming out in 2021. And then Piers replied telling him that here's a column about Prince Andrew and I don't mention the Sussexes. Sorry if it makes your Piers only criticizes black royals narrative look like a damn lazy lie. And Femi then says that, I'm so glad you think the evils of Prince Andrew have finally caught up with those of Meghan. I think that is my favorite tweet actually. Finally, evils of Prince Andrew have finally caught up with Meghan, because these people behaved as though what Meghan had actually done, just marrying a prince and falling in love with him, is the worst thing that has ever happened to that family. Piers Morgan even got fired from his job just because of Meghan, because he said the worst thing ever, that he didn't believe Meghan was suicidal. He wrote so many articles criticizing Meghan, saying the worst things about Meghan, telling her to go back to America and all of those things. And Femi was like, finally, at least you thought what Prince Andrew had done had finally caught up with Meghan, because Meghan had done literally nothing. She's never done anything to these people, even to Piers Morgan. All they'll say is that, we don't like Meghan because she has destroyed our monarchy. But then you're like, what exactly has this woman done? Obviously nothing, but they'll just find anything, something, just to criticize this woman. And then, in relation to that, Piers replied saying, "This is my fifth heavily critical column about the Andrew/Epstein scandal. You didn't just notice any of the others because he's white." Well, guess what? Even to this day, the columns that Piers Morgan has written concerning Prince Andrew are very less compared to the articles that this man has written concerning Prince Harry and Meghan, criticizing them and dragging them and saying all sorts of awful things about this couple. So no, you can't just say that it's now fair because you wrote 5 articles condemning this alleged pedophile, and you wrote like a million articles criticizing these people who've done nothing to you. Because let's be clear, they haven't done anything to Piers Morgan or even anyone, not even anyone in that palace. They just told their truth. And then Femi then adds by saying that, so aiding and abetting the sex trafficking of children gets you 5 whole columns. How much does being too woke get you? I only looked at the last 12 months. And in that month alone, Piers had written like 15 articles about Prince Harry and Meghan. Well, just imagine how many he has written up to now concerning Prince Harry and Meghan, and how many segments he's done to discuss Prince Harry and Meghan when he isn't doing the same for Prince Andrew. This is completely hypocritical, and again, it shows you how these people protected Prince Andrew, were willing to say all sorts of things to just keep Prince Andrew out of the limelight, but then use Harry and Meghan as the scapegoats by making sure that there were so many negative stories about this couple, even hoping that the public would actually forget about Prince Andrew. But then, right now, I can say that what is happening is actually karma. All their actions are coming to bite them. Everything is being exposed. They can no longer hide their actions. And I'm actually glad that someone like Femi kept all of these receipts for us to see how Piers Morgan was literally trying to defend Prince Andrew. In fact, the last tweet is what sells out Piers Morgan, where he says, unless you can prove this is a very serious criminal allegation about Prince Andrew, I strongly suggest you delete it. Wow, how that has aged, right? Because look at these photos. All of these are now being revealed about Prince Andrew, but people like Piers thought it was never going to come to light. They thought only their articles trying to paint Harry and Meghan as the evil people, as the worst people to ever be in that family, were actually the ones that were going to stay in the spotlight. Wow. I cannot help but laugh how the tables have turned, right? Because what does Piers Morgan have to say now concerning all of this? What does he have to say concerning all of this evidence now coming to light? They should be ashamed of themselves, because we all know exactly what they were doing then. They were protecting Prince Andrew while dragging Prince Harry and Meghan left, right, and center. But their evil actions are finally being revealed. Talk about karma. So, yeah, that is what I wanted to share with you for now. So kindly let me know what you think. Then I'll see you next time. And yeah, I also loved that Misan Harriman is actually the one who shared that with us. So let me know what you think. Then I'll see you on the next episode. And I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.